What's up, guys? Back again. I got some parts because Jay-Z stuff. So I got a starter, a belt, and I also bought a new pulley that's grooved. Because when you delete all the accessories, so power steering, what's the other one? Shoot, I'm spacing out. Oh no! AC, that's what it is. Power steering and AC, you delete it, and then you gotta buy this pulley because the tensioner on this one is flat and you need a grooved one, and it's gonna make a little square thing. You'll see in this episode because that's what I'm doing today. Just waiting on the alternator to show up, which should be arriving today, and if it doesn't, I'm gonna be mad because then I'm gonna have to wait until next week to do all this stuff. Anyway, see you guys soon. Joke's on you. Boom, look at that. Starter, it's in. Next up, working on the pulley. We're gonna get this switched out. Still waiting on the delivery guy for my alternator, and then we can throw on the belt and button back up my intake, and then maybe work on the fuel rail stuff. So, see you soon. All right, guys, so I got the alternator. The pulley I already installed instead of the tensioner one, which was just, I don't know where I put that. Oh, it's right here. So it's just flat. I had to put a pulley on here because I don't have AC or power steering. To make this actually spin, I just put a washer behind it on the other side, so that's good. And we're gonna throw this on here and get my belt on. All right, check it out. So I got the belt on, alternator's on. I just need to do the nut on the bottom. I don't know where it went. Yeah, so changed out this, put a washer on the backside. This is no AC, no power steering. The belt was definitely a little tight. We'll see how it is. I mean, there's still some flex in it with it fully on there. But we'll see if it fucking snaps when I get this going. So that's all done. Check that off the list. Continuing on. So shout out to Titan Motorsports because they finally gave me stuff. Thanks, Titan. They're sweating my eyes! Anyway, that's gonna be my fuel rail shit that I gotta bolt up to finish up the fuel rail. I'm gonna work on that, and then we're gonna work on some intercooler stuff. Got the rest of my piping showing up, and I'm gonna create a tool and use it. Probably seen it all over YouTube, just to bead the edges so my couplers don't come off. Anyway, stay tuned, because we're gonna get to work. Ah!
So this right here is a grindy boy. This right here is a worthless piece of shit Allen wrench. What we're gonna do is we're gonna modify it so it's still a worthless piece of shit Allen wrench, but just a little bit shorter, like Sage.
What? Ah! Hey, fuck you. That does not look straight at all. Look at that ridge.
Sage was too afraid to cut this, so that everybody knows.
Sage is a pussy! Alright guys, so I got the fuel rail and the brackets on, and it is also plumb. So there's my send, which wraps around and then goes back and through the return. I also have this other midline right here that's supposed to be the return, but I just blocked that off and I'm just gonna run it back through the rail. Intake's on. So now, moving on to the intercooler and figuring out the piping for this. So I might have to cut out this side, not sure yet. I have some pieces over there, and I got the rest of my goodies over here. So I got some clamps, some pump hose, 90s, and clamps. So we're gonna go ahead and start fabbing this stuff up. Alright guys, so I realized something. So this 90 has a bead on it on both ends. This long piece of 45 does not have a bead. So I'm gonna go ahead and make a tool that only costs $20 to roll a bead on the pipe. So we're gonna do that real quick before I start cutting stuff up so I can actually fit it correctly with the pipe that I have, because this stuff is expensive. So these are made in China. These are just wire crimps. And what I'm gonna do is cut off the top part right here. Cut off that, and then right where this little divot is, that's where I'm gonna cut it down to. Then I'm gonna sand away this little piece just so it can actually, the pipe can fit in there so I can actually crimp it. We're gonna roll some beads, I guess. I'm gonna make this tool real quick. Okie doke, guys. So I got this piece now. So this used to look like this long one in the back, and I hacked it down quite a bit. I tried out my little crimping tool and it works pretty good actually. So this fits on the intake side pretty well. I still need a 45 coupler for this back piece. So I'm gonna wait to cut this, but I'm gonna use the same piece right now to do this side and to see how it fits and see what else I need. I'll probably just need another 45 is what I'm guessing. But I almost have it complete, and we're gonna continue working on this. Okay, so I fit that same piece of piping that I made for the intake side. Well, I mean, whatever, that side. For this side, I put it in. The same piece that was over there, I put it in over here. But what's in the way is this. So I started to grind and then I forgot, hey, might as well film this and do a time lapse. But yeah, so I gotta cut a section of this out, enable for this pipe to fit through to this side. So time lapse time, baby. And here it is, all cut out. I don't know, I kind of went a little low on this side. I don't know if I'm gonna keep this or what. Basically, my goal right now is just to get this puppy running. We're gonna leave it like that. I'm gonna run my piping and go from there. Sweet. So I've already buttoned all these up because this is how it's gonna be. And then I got the 45, so I gotta cut this down. I'm probably gonna switch this out with this one. These hump tubes give it so it's able to flex a little bit more if the engine moves or whatever. Might replace that. Anyway, gotta cut this down, and then this side will be complete, and then we'll start working on the other side. So, quick update. I have this re-loomed. I cut a wire in here and basically extended it, so now these can actually fit up here. I'm gonna have these up here in some sort of orientation. I don't know what I'm gonna do with all this extra stuff. But anyway, now that that's out of the way, I'm gonna throw my exhaust manifold back on, my turbo on, put all that back up, and start on the plumbing for this side. Also, I added this little nifty guy from Drift Motion. This is a water neck adapter, so now it faces straight down rather than out this way, which was getting in the way of my intercooler piping. So that's pretty rad, cost 80 bucks. I'll finally have that installed, and then eventually we'll tube that up to the radiator when that's back in. But anyway, we can go back into a time lapse. An hour and a half later, some blistered hands, and this little tool right here, and I've beaded all of my piping. So all my piping's done, and we're gonna put it in. As you can see, like this one was the 90, and it already had a pre-built bead. But all these other ones, since I had to cut them down to size, I had to roll my own bead. That's all I used was this tool that I made earlier that you saw, was this little guy. And my hands are blistered. But for 20 bucks, worked pretty well. So we'll see if I blow any of these lines off when I actually get the car going, but let's put them in. there you have it. Everything's buttoned up for the intercooler piping. So only thing I have to do now is I actually have to cut out for my blow-off valve right here. And that will pretty much complete that. Next step is to put in the radiator back in with my new relocated water neck and plumb all that together. And then from there we're probably gonna go on to wiring and see if we can wire up, you know, all this junk and stuff. Still a few things, little miscellaneous things I still gotta do, like back here on my radiator lines. I have to get clamps for, but other than that, we're gonna continue forward. I even build like the block off plate over here for my fuel pressure regulator. But yeah, anyway, glad that's out of the way. One step closer. And that's gonna conclude this episode for the 2JZ 280Z. Stay tuned. Remember, we got merch out there, super sick, you know? If you wanna support us and everything that we do, you know where to find us.